So for clothes and apparel, don't bring an umbrella. They break, and there's the stigma that Jehovah's Witnesses have umbrellas. There's a big Jehovah's Witness communities around there, and whenever someone's walking down the street in Sunday best and an umbrella, they think they're Jehovah's Witnesses. So it's weird, but every single missionary will tell you that. Don't have an umbrella. Get a raincoat, because during the winter, you won't have snow, you'll have a raining season. So make sure that you have a really good raincoat, because you're going to get really, really wet. Like, you may go out and then have to come home during lunch and change into new clothes because you'll be so soaping wet. So have a really good raincoat for the raining season. When I got there, they changed the dress standards about 3 weeks after I arrived. So I was kind of bummed because, I had the plain, dark, long, baggy clothing, and then like, oh yeah, wear colors, and just have it so it just covers the knee when you sit, and so make sure that you wear bright, colorful clothing, because it definitely does help in missionary work. People don't think you're nuns or something like that. When I was there, again, professionalism, so nothing too crazy. We always wore stockings, pantyhose, whatever you want to call it. We call them stockings. For meetings, so district meetings, zone meetings, temple, and something like baptisms or something like that. I always wear stockings then. And the rest of the time you just want your legs bare because it can get hot. Anyways, what else? There's two different ways to do shoes that I've come across. One is to get really cheap shoes and then just keep buying them on the mission. The other way is to get really good shoes, get like 3 or 4 really good shoes, one that are really nice to wear to church, and then like really good shoes that you can get from like Sister Missionary Mall, like Echo and those other brands that Sister Missionary Mall offers. Or I don't remember the brand names. I just know Sister Missionary Mall does. Anyway, so then have really good comfortable shoes, and then set one aside, and then once your shoes get worn out, then rotate another one in. So there's 2 different ways of doing it. My sister, she just left for the MTC last week, and she got Crocs. And I had no idea they were even Crocs. They were really nice looking. And I said, oh, your shoes are so cute. Where'd you get them? And she's like, oh, they're Crocs. I'm like, what? She tosses them to me, and I'm like, wow, these are really good. And he's like, yeah. So they don't have holes in them. They don't look crazy or anything like that. They're actually like nice dress shoes, but in that Crocs foamy, really comfy material. And the great thing about them is that they're waterproof. So that's why she got them for the rainy season in Brazil. So if I would have gone back, I would have gotten some nice Crocs. And what else? Yeah, don't go crazy with jewelry or anything like that. I think nowadays they have this Facebook group, like Sister Missionaries Facebook group or something like that, where Sister Missionaries go in there and they like take pictures of stuff, and they're like, oh, is this appropriate? And a whole bunch of people say, oh yeah, that's great, or I don't know. So it's crazy what you can do with the internet nowadays. What else with clothing? When it's hot, you're going to want to wear looser clothing because it keeps you cooler. So if you were to go to a place like Temecula like I did, like on my mission I had looser clothing, but at that point, because I had lost a lot of weight at that point, and my companion had kind of a little bit tighter skin clothing, and she was so hot, and I was like, oh, this is okay. So looser clothing's better. Yeah. Oh, that's another thing about the mission. Tangent. So because it's a little bit more affluent, people are very health crazy, and unless you're like Spanish speaking missionary and you like in Mexican homes or Hispanic homes, because they love to feed you. Like that's the way they show their love to you, is they feed you. I remember this one time I went over to I was on exchanges with Hermana, and I went over to this family's house, and they put this large portion of food in front of me. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm not gonna be able to finish this. So I'm eating it and eating it and eating it. I get halfway through and they're like, oh, Armana, you need more, you need more. I'm like, oh, no, you know, it's okay. Oh, okay. So then I have a whole big full portion left again, and I eat it and eat it and eat it. And they're like, oh, Hermanas, some dessert. And we're like, oh, no, that's okay. No, we got some great ice cream from Golden Spoon. Golden Spoon is like an it place to have ice cream. And actually, one of the bishops that I served in Orange County owns the place. But that's not on the mission anymore. Anyways, so then they bring out the Golden Spoon ice cream, and they're like, chocolate or vanilla? And I'm like, both. And they're like, oh no, not both. So I literally was so sick after that. So if you're not in a Hispanic home, you're going to get the opposite. You're going to have a family who's going to serve you super healthy, expensive meals, which are good, but then sometimes you get the family who will serve you like absolutely nothing because they eat like birds. So, you know, you're walking around all day, you're burning 5,000 calories, and then you get into this home and they give you a slice of pizza and a salad, and you're like, oh, I'm so hungry. So there'd be a lot of times where I go home and after dinner, like rush and make PB&J, and then okay, let's go, because we'd be so hungry. Anyways, so I lost like 30 pounds on my mission. But I don't think that was the same for everyone. I think I was just in a lot of more affluent areas than most people. And then I had a missionary that had really crazy health restrictions, so that contributed to it too. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, so street smart. So street smart. There's a lot of big churches. How do I put this? What did we used to call them? Like great and spacious building churches. They're huge. Like these buildings have skate parks in them and game rooms and big multimedia rooms. Thousands of people go every Sunday. And not only are these churches huge, but they're very popular because of, you know, the entertainment part. And then also they have classes how to talk to Mormon missionaries. So you will hear the same things over and over and over again. You'll be able to spot them out because they'll say the same thing to you. And they'll ask you the same questions, word for word. And so if you start seeing that pattern, have a spirit with you. That's my biggest thing with bashers is if the spirit's gone, then walk away. Just walk away. There's no point. Their heart's not open. And you just do what you can and leave on a happy note. Because if you're going to start talking to them without the spirit, then that's not going to do any good. That's going to do harm. So that was something that was my it thing. And the way you can do it is you can just be simply, I had my trainer told me, you can say anything you want, just the way you say it. So just be very polite, smile, say, oh, you know what, I'm really sorry, but we have to get going. You know, we have an appointment, but it was really good talking to you, and shake their hand. If you stick out your hand to them as you're saying to this, then that's another way that you can get out of it or something like that. But make sure you have the spirit with you. And I remember when things got really bad, I would feel literally sick. Like very sick. When the spirit left and I was talking to a basher, my stomach would turn and I'd feel nauseous and I'd feel weak. I would feel literally really weak, and I could feel the power of the spirit leave. And so you don't want to be like that when you're talking to someone who wants to argue with you. So just leave. What else? Street smart stuff. I guess you can have that same kind of that same motto with homeless people too, because I've noticed that because I currently work in Salt Lake City, and I've also noticed that there is sometimes I'll meet a homeless person who's asking me for money, and I'm like, oh, I could feel the spirit, but sometimes I just get that same churning feeling and say, I'll just walk away. So if you meet homeless people in your mission, if you're more coastal, a lot more homeless people by the beach. So make sure you have the spirit with you there. What else? Also by the beach, there's a lot more people, a lot more alcohol, a lot more drugs. So listen to the Spirit in those situations, and never teach anyone who's influenced. Never. It's not a good idea. Because that's like worse. That's worse than talking to a bachelor. That's like 10 times worse. So don't do that. Oh, what else? Yeah, there's a lot of drugs and alcohol in California. It's really sad. So you'll teach people who struggle with addictions a lot. That can be difficult. You gotta stay in contact with those people a lot.